Boo is trying his best to explain, but I still do not understand your anger.
Do not hide behind your hamster, Ranger. You do not understand because you do not listen. We were the first to discover the cult. And if you had only waited, we might have marshaled our numbers and...
Good does not wait for evil to button up its breeches. When it offers buttocks for the smacking, Minsc and Boo greet cheek with hand. It is well that Boo's innocent ears still ring from all this shouting.
This mess falls on our heads, Minsc. The city under siege, its people poisoned by the cult. It all might have been avoided if you had just put your feelings aside and listened. You mean the doppelgangers? It is no comfort to me that my face made this fool all the easier to lead. The point remains. You meant well, Minsc. But you exposed the city to harm. You helped the cult spread. And worse, perhaps than any of this, you forced me to leave you behind.
But this is where Minsc falls short of the understanding, Jaheira. What else is a berserker for, if not to charge into danger ahead of his Waclaren?
Waclaren? Minsc, I am not your witch. You are not my bodyguard. This is not some high lodge of your homeland.
Boo agrees you're a queer kind of witch. But this city is a queer place. And Minsc, you may have noticed, is sometimes strange himself. The titles matter not. Only this. When Minsc does as Minsc does, and charges in to make a mess, Jaheira does as Jaheira does, and finds a way to save us all anyway.
Well, at least you're getting to know him a little better. I am your friend, Ranger. I am not your witch. There will be no ointments or healing balms.
Not even for Boo?
Hey, soldier.
The cub speaks. Huh. Not so much a term of age or affection as simple old habit. You object? And will be again. But now I shall mutter them under my breath, out of respect.
Fine lodgings you have found, my friend. Boo is already in negotiations with the guardian spirits of this place. In Baldur's Gate, they are likely to be rat-formed and eager to charge rent. But Boo shall secure safe slumber for all. Now, what do you need of Minsc? So dark an alliance sealed with Zentish contracts, cultish vows, and a dragon's shining horde. You think Minsc could forget? You are correct. I have no idea what any of that was about. But we shall simply... Boo! Why do you gnaw at my soft parts? I am trying to... Once again, in smaller words? I see. this truth you seek. Boo believes that Minsc is knowing more than Minsc knows. But it is a difficult thing. There are memories of this time that Minsc does not remember. And Boo suggests that, just as he helps with tricksome itches in awkward places, you must reach what Minsc cannot. The parasite. You can use it to tickle free whatever truth you seek. The worm has already whipped me around the city like a slack-backed pony. I have no wish to saddle myself a second time. But if it cannot be Boo who pops inside my skull for a rummage, then I trust you. Or Jahira, but she is currently possessed of an empty head.
At first, there is nothing. His mind is empty as a still expanse of open country. But then... Your face, the Stone Lord's face, mirrored in bloodied steel. In the heat of burning buildings, you hold your blade high above pale, frightened faces.
No, that is not right. I slew only monsters. The voice said that they were monsters.
A whisper. The Absolute's voice, twisting the petty guild thieves before you into snarling, savage beasts, feeding on the weak of your city.
The guild. The Stone Lord hunted them, peeled away their rotten ranks one by one to lay bare their corrupt heart. 9 fingers keen. That is what the Absolute bought Black Zentish Steel to do. To kill the Guildmaster. What does it matter? Cultish thinking has occupied Minsc's mind for long enough. Now is time for doing. And this talk of evil overthrowing evil, pah! Like a many-headed hydra biting at its own throat. Bring forth the hydra, says Boo. More faces for the punching. First we pop the Zentarim blood. Then we show 9 fingers, the 5 fingers of Minsc. Yes? Minsc has forgotten nothing. Once we are done with the undoing of his deeds, then we will speak of this Stone Lord. You come to speak of the last time Minsc stood watch? The snoring, it was Boo. There is more than a little to know, I think. I am huge. Oh, my friend. There is much more to know of Minsc's homeland than he could ever put into words. Boo might fare better, but his home is far stranger again. Well, in many ways, it is the very opposite of this city. The far side of Faerun, with empty plains, white forests, and peaks that pierce the very belly of the sky. But it is like the city too. Here, it is loud with the daily wailing of people. In Rasheman, it is also loud, if you know where to listen. The Telthors, guardian spirits of every root, rock, and tree. Here in the Sleeping Lands they are silent, but in the far north, they know how to speak still. Such a skeptic, my friend. Minsc cannot prove the point to you, for the Telthors of this land lie sleeping. And for this, we had best be glad. In Rasheman, a Telthor is wind and snow and soil. In Baldur's Gate, it would be stink and stain and a far less pleasant type of soil. If my meaning is not clear, just check under your boot. The first time, my Dajema, a warrior's quest of proving. Minsc quickly proved that quests do not always go as the stories say. After wandering a ways and some savings of the Sword Coast, Minsc returned to Rasheman to find a welcome fit for hamsters and heroes. The Iron Lord himself came to bear witness to Boo. Minsc politely disagreed. Dinah here was dead, and so his Dajema could never be done. Then swear your service to me, Minsc of Rasheman, said he. Serve your land as your lord's chosen champion. Minsc politely disagreed. It was a little awkward, but he had already sworn his service to Boo. Minsc of Rasheman, said he. You insult your Iron Lord. We will settle this matter in the circle of combat. It was only polite for Minsc to agree. After they carried the Iron Lord away, the Council of Witches gave Minsc a pack of provisions and said it would be best if he continued his adventures for a time. Yes, Boo, that was before we were stone. Perhaps we are due a little homecoming when all of this is done, no? As you wish. Boo, do you have much to say on the matter of something else? Of course, my friend. Or are we not friends? Boo never looks to give me fleas. Sometimes you just pick these things up along the path. Now, does Boo see a question in your eye, or just a parasite poking through? Well, Boo, explain yourself. Clear enough? Can you not? Do you not see his noble bearing? The deep wells of wisdom that are his eyes? Boo speaks of much. Perhaps one day, you will be ready to listen. Ah! You speak of Minsc's misshapen skull. It is true. I once suffered a most heroic head wound. Before Boo, I was a typical berserker of Rashomon. Duty-bound and full of my own seriousness. The problem with one so gazing of their navel, however, they are easily ambushed. Brigands split my skull like a sodden wineskin. It was as I recovered that Boo first appeared. He told me that I had felt the great poking finger of justice, marking Minsc as its champion and Boo as my guide. As for the headache, well, justice cannot always afford to be gentle. Do not be ridiculous. If any of us is chosen by the gods, it is obviously Boo. Now, shall we away? My boots crave the crunch of unvirtuous nethers. Oh, the mind of Minsc is a simple place. Of what strangeness do you speak?
The memories resurface, a lifetime of battles blurring into one. A single constant is Minsc, launching into the fray no matter the foe, be they god, monster, or man. It seems just the barest glimpse of what the man before you has seen and done, but enough to know that he has no right to still be alive.
Ah, wait! That look in your eye. I know exactly what visions of Minsc you have seen to cause you such wonder. My pants. Thrice laced, in the Rashomon style, so that a berserker might split skulls without fear of splitting breeches, too. They are fiendishly complex, but fear not for Minsc. With training, he has learned to master the many little knots. Well, as have you, no? Do not forget that when you gaze into Minsc, Minsc also gazes into you. We both fight evil, wherever it is found. The who and where are less important than the hamsters you meet along the way. On this matter of sharing memories, I see no reason for us to worry at one another's worms. If there is more we wish to know, we can simply ask, no? Exactly so! If I must peer into the mind of my enemy, I use an axe. For friends, there is ale. No, my friend. If you fear you have a question that Minsc cannot answer, then you can simply ask Boo. As you wish, but quietly. It is listening. On this matter, I have held small council with Boo. If the worm is lodged within our skulls, should it not be possible to simply squeeze like so? Until something pops out. Pay that noise no mind. Boo has not feasted on evil's flesh in some time, and it has set his gut to bubbling. None at all. Though Boo is tiny. Perhaps he could just crawl into our ears and... Ah, you are right, Boo. A ridiculous notion. It would be far too dark to see. Minsc shall be your shadow, as Boo is his. Ah, you come in search of stories. It is not yet time to tuck Boo in for the night. But very well. After our adventurings with the Ballspawn, Boo had had his fill of godly flesh. So, we returned to Baldur's Gate for a time. After all, in every city there is a sweaty underbelly, crying out for a virtuous scrubbing. None better to wield a brush than Minsc and Boo. Perhaps we rubbed some villain's rump a little too raw. This Minsc does not know. One moment we stood in the city's slums. The next, ambush! Then Minsc and Boo woke on the wide, with stone dust in sensitive places. The mind of Minsc was occupied with important matters. I was browsing a slum vendor's stall, looking for Boo's favorite nuts. And then, I was stolen. For Minsc, those years passed as quick as a hiccup. It was long ago, then it is now. I do not like these metal men on the streets, or the villains who hide behind them. But the new world is not so different to the old one. The city still clings to the hill. The sea still stretches on forever. And the stench of evil still makes Boo wish for a tiny peg on his nose. As long as that stench remains, no matter how old or young the world is, Minsc and Boo will not rest. We have! Is it not wonderful? To irk your friend so that she wishes to fill you with some crossbow quarrels, but knowing she never will for fear of hitting your hamster. There is no need for sweet words between companions such as we. Too often those are the weapons of flatterers and frauds. But she who will beat you about the head with the cold and pointy truth, that is a true Wicklaren. A hero is only as good as the friends they have at their back. This is why Boo favors this spot just above my buttocks. Minsc shall be your shadow, as Boo is his.